liberty and justice for all.
Recording of the roll, please.
All present.
Thank you. Item C, approval of the consent agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Corcoran, seconded by Commissioner Tower to approve the consent agenda as presented. Discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Mildred.
Yes.
Semo.
Yes.
Tower.
Yes.
Corcoran.
Yes.
Burchell.
Yes. Item D, approval of the agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Excuse me, we have one change. We need to remove item G from the document.
Mike Foley wasn't able to make it today. We do have Garth Stengard pinch hitting, but Mike would be more up to speed on all the items on phase 3 and 4. So we would bring that back at the next commission meeting.
Okay.
I'll make a motion, we approve the agenda as amended.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Corcoran, seconded by Commissioner Tower to approve the agenda with as amended. Further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item E, citizens wishing to address the commission on items on the agenda. As I call you, you may come up and please state your name and address. And then you have a 3-minute time slot. And again, we are so happy to hear your comments and your constructive and any type of important points that you want to stress. When it comes to discussing people, we ask you to stick to substantive, informative, factual comments, and we ask you to refrain from personal attacks. Thank you. Okay, Mr. Grabovicic.
Paul Grabovicic, 1221 East Leonard. And item N, consider closed session to discuss city manager's review contract. It's disgusting that you want to do a closed session on that. We, the taxpayers and the citizens of the city of Ironwood, should be able to hear what you people have to say about the city manager, Scotty Erickson. It is just disgusting. And one thing about what you should consider is on his contract, he has a $10,000 out of his $90,000 a year contract. That should be taken away because of all of the mistakes that have been made in these projects, these water and sewer projects. And Scotty Erickson's supposed to look at these projects and approve them. There was people with sewer in their basements up there in Norrie, Newport, and other locations. And according to Scotty Erickson, everything's fine, everything's fine, everything's fine. He never brought that up. There was mistakes made in those projects. Mistakes. And there was, the inspectors made mistakes. I mean, how could we not pump somebody's sewer in? And everything was fine. Everything's fine according to their manager. And the Florence Street project that I've been complaining about, at least it's going to get somewhat fixed, and Scotty, he still will not even admit that there was a mistake made on that street. He's the one that reviews these plans. And the buck stops here. That's what Harry Truman said about the Little League field. He was supposed to make sure that that thing is done right. And how many thousands of dollars did his mistake cost the taxpayer? And funding for the street portion of these projects, the street portion, the blacktopping. I don't know how you could fund that for 40 years. You should have been able to pay for this project, to pay for the blacktopping. I know the water and the sewage project, sewer, that has to be bonded with the water and sewer rates. It's just financing this for 40 years. I mean, the right thing should have been done is while the community development department is closed. You could have closed that earlier, and you could have paid for that, for the blacktopping of these projects. You had 11 people up in this memorial building, and you did not want to lay anybody off. It's just 40 years for these projects, and it's totally crazy to pay for this stuff in 40 years. And with his salary of $90,000 a year, he should be able to write these grants. These grants he should be able to write he should write for at that salary. And if he cannot write, or if he doesn't want to write these grants, then find somebody that will. And you could probably get a city manager at $60,000 that will be able to write these grants. My time is up.
Thank you. Any other citizens wishing to address the commission on items on the agenda? None? Moving on to citizens wishing to address the commission on items not on the agenda. Not on the agenda.
Hello, Michelle Kennedy, 312 East Oak Street. I'm having a lot of trouble starting out. As you know, we had a tragedy. We lost a house was burned. It's being said it's a total loss. It was under discretion that parking. Look, I watched as the neighbor's house burned to a total loss. I also watched as they, because of this parking issue, we tried to get several police cars as well as the fire truck down there. I watched as they moved the car out from in front of the fire hydrant. This house was burning while all these adjustments were being made to get all of this emergency vehicles down there. This could have been my house. This is very concerning. I stand before you today asking that you would approve this driveway for us so that we can get all of our vehicles off the street at all times. As well as let's look at some codes regarding the parking on the 300 block along East Oak Street down there. It was frightening what I saw, and we were able to back up the tape, the surveillance tape, and watch it again. And this needs to be reviewed. It's a problem in someone else's house. It could have been a disaster. I don't know what to say. With all due respect, parking down at the end is not an issue anymore. So by allowing us a driveway, we can get 2, possibly 3 cars off the street in the night. We're only losing 1 parking spot on the street itself. That is that of the old one. To me, it makes sense. I don't know what else to say, but thank you.
Thank you.
My name's George Kennedy, I live at 312 East Oak Street, and I would just like to remind you, as I stated last time, that there will not be any loss of parking spaces because simply my Blazer that now is parked in the street will be parked in my upper lot. So that'll be taking the vehicle off the streets. My wife was concerned because sometimes they can line them up on both sides, and I won't say why, but the traffic sure has slowed down as of like a month ago or so. I don't know. What I'm saying is allowing us to have our vehicle parked on our property, which I believe is our right. As Mr. Newman had stated, we are allowed to have 40% of our lot as a driveway. That would simply leave another spot on the street open for when they do have a guest. I'm asking to approve this driveway. We need it more than just temporarily. We need access year round, and we'll get approved for it. And unfortunately, the home that burned a few doors down, I don't mean to. There's 2 people that no longer park on that street, so I don't think parking will be an issue anymore. Except when they park in front of the hydrant. That was always an issue, and that was okay. The police or the fire department literally waited for her to move her vehicle. So that's a different issue from our driveway. I want to be more concerned about our driveway and allowing us to park our vehicle and guests on our property, especially during the winter, because there's no parking lot on the streets as you know in the winter, and they make an exception here and there. But that's just I'd like our parking permit so we can put our driveway in. Mr. Hewitt originally initiated, take it back, and I hope it's granted. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other citizens wishing to address the commission on items not on the agenda? Yes, Mr. Verbavicic.
Yes, Paul Grabowski, 1221 East Center. Karen, is that thing working? The internet is going on the internet tonight?
Of course.
Okay, thank you. This is the fifth time I'm asking this. The grass in our neighborhood, it's not growing. You have yet to address it and ask Scotty Erickson, why isn't this taken care of? You have never asked him. The people in the neighborhood are mad. Their lawns look like garbage. Who's going to be responsible for this? Rootsville Construction should not get 1 single cent from the city until that grass is fixed. My neighbor down the street, Russ Anderson, 2 weeks ago, got some good topsoil from Alberini. He planted the soil, he planted grass, and he's going to cut it next week. And how long is this? Almost 2 years? This stuff looks like garbage, and all that's growing is weeds. And this is the third time I'm asking you.
Water on Lake Street.
Water on Lake Street in US 2.
Water on
US 2 in Greenbush, when the rain comes in. When there's a logging truck comes by, that wave is 20 feet high.
If the storm sewer
If the storm sewer's there, the drain is inadequate. You people have never asked Scott Erickson, what's the problem with that? I mean, people want to know what's going on. And I know, you as a commission, you do not want transparency in communications. Because on your agenda for 2016, 2017, it's the bottom of it had a goose 0 for your goal set, 0 for transparency and communications improvement. And that is totally wrong. I mean, what are you, the Obama administration, where you want to keep everything quiet? This is Ironwood, Michigan, small town USA, where everybody knows everybody. And we should know what's going on. And it's just disgusting. I mean, did Scott Erickson tell you not to take any questions from the floor? I mean, are you afraid to ask him?
Because it's wrong.
Because it's wrong. It is totally wrong. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other citizens? Moving on to new business, item H. Consider approval of rural development pay package in the amount of $7,324.44 for the City of Ironwood Phase 3 Utility Project Water portion, and authorize the mayor to sign all applicable docs.
Thank you. Again, this is associated with the US 2 project. It's reimbursement to the DOT. Again, they were the entity that let the contract and awarded it, and we reimburse them for the water and sewer portion. There's a credit on this particular item. You'll notice in the information that's included. No question came up, so I will defer to Garth to go over how that credit works with the DOT project. And if you mind elaborating a little bit on that, Garth?
Sure. Be happy to. In the estimate, pull it open and kind of show you how it's kind of divided out. The water and sewer is the city's portion. So in the blue are the water. You can see there's a charge for $7,000. There's a credit of $2,300 and another charge for $2,000. So that's the water portion. So kind of in math, you have the 75, the 2,000, and the credit of $2,300. So the water portion that the DOT is asking for reimbursement is $7,300. In the green is the sewer portion of the estimate. And you can see there's 2 credits, one for $2,300 and one for $200. So again, in math, you have a credit for the sewer of $2,500. So the way that DOT works is they lump the water and sewer together. So you guys keep them separate, they lump it together. So basically what they're asking for, the DOT, is the $7,300 minus the $2,500. So they're asking for a check of $4,804. So the remaining $2,500 credit needs to come out of the water and go into the sewer. So basically, the water department's paying the sewer department that amount of money. And the DOT is getting that. In a perfect world, the DOT would say, all right, send us a check for $7,300. We'll send you a check for $2,500. And you guys put that into your sewer. But since they lump it together, they're just saying, okay, the total bill is $73, but only give us that. And you guys put that into your sewer from your water.
Okay, so we're authorizing 7,300, but 4,800 will get paid to the DOT and the other one get transferred to sewer.
Correct.
Got it. Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions?
No, I'll make the motion to approve the pay package as described in item H for $77,324.44.
Is there support?
Support.
Motion by Commissioner Mildren, seconded by Commissioner Corcoran to approve the rural development pay package as described in item H in the amount of $7,324.44. Any other discussion?
I just have my usual question is, does this money fall within the purview of the funding for this project?
Yes, it does.
Roll call vote, please.
Semo.
Yes.
Tower.
Yes.
Corcoran.
Yes.
Mildren.
Yes.
Virgil.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you for the explanation, too. Item I, discuss and consider approving pay estimate number 5 in the amount of $67,871.92 to Angelo Rapino, Inc. for the 2016 local street paving project.
Again, this is our fifth payment to Angelo Rapino. They've been diligently working on the streets pretty much all summer long, and they're continuing to do so. You'll see a lot more activity went on last week and more going on next week, so things are going very well. So this is a partial payment for the work they completed the past 2 weeks.
I'll make a motion, we approve the pay estimate described in item I.
Support.
Motion by Commissioner Semo, seconded by Commissioner Corcoran to approve the pay package described in item I. Further discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Tower.
Yes.
Corcoran.
Yes.
Mildren.
Yes.
Semo.
Yes.
Virgil.
Yes. Item J, discuss and consider approving payment number 1, the final payment to Nacy Construction LLC in the amount of $65,305 for the Memorial Building facade improvement project.
Again, the project is completed. You can look out the window and see the resulting product. Again, Nacy's did a really nice job. They worked on it very diligently. They tuck pointed, replaced some brick, and then resurfaced the whole wall. Again, you'll see on the back wall we have more to do in future phases, but this is what we had budgets available for, and we're recommending approval.
Great.
What do you think the lifespan of the work will be, just a guess?
The work, what you'll see, we saw before, they redid the wall probably 96. You saw what happened. What you have out there is it's a soft brick, and that soft brick, it can absorb moisture, and it freezes and pops. So long story short, you're probably going to see that, short of tearing the whole wall down, which, we don't have the funding to replace the whole wall. This is kind of a way to maintain it and keep it in good shape. My gut reaction is I would hope we get a good 10 years out of it. Again, you might see a pop here and there starting because, they didn't replace all the brick. They replaced the ones that had spalled. But those soft bricks are still there, and they are susceptible to moisture, and, it gets in there, and when it freezes, they pop, unfortunately. So it'll be an ongoing thing probably for many years, but hopefully a good 10 years out of it, I hope.
There's not a long-term fix of any kind?
Short of taking the wall, redoing the whole wall and putting up a harder, type of exterior brick would be the ultimate way to do it, but that would be significantly cost prohibitive right now with the budget. But. Yeah, and they've got the kind of paint up there that's specific for this type of application to keep that water from getting back there. But there'll be some moisture that's going to get into that brick over time. But there was a certain specific type of paint that we use for that. Exactly, Randy.
I'll make a motion, we approve payment number 1 as described in item J.
Support.
Motion by Commissioner Corcoran, by Commissioner Mildren to approve payment number 1 as described in item J. Any other discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Corcoran.
Yes.
Mildren.
Yes.
Semo.
Yes.
Tower.
Yes.
Virgil.
Yes. Item K, discuss and consider side letter of agreement with Police Officers Association of Michigan regarding part-time public safety officers.
And again, Andrew, Chief DeGiorgio will go over this. It is a side letter of agreement. It's been reviewed by staff and the city attorney, and Mr. DeGiorgio will go through the details of what it means.
Sergeant Carpenter, we had some part multiple part-timers also that work at other agencies. And we just wanted to clean up the language so that there was no confusion moving forward. These are just some basic changes. With hiring part-timers, our current contracts that we hire on a seniority base. With our part-timers, we want to have the option in the future to choose who we want to hire. So you could have two part-timers are working out in the beginning, but down the road, the person that was hired first normally would have gotten the job, but the other option would be the better option. So we just wanted to have that option to hire the best available candidate at the time. And the union felt, strongly for that too. They want to work with the best people. So I'm just cleaning up the contract and making a fair process for the future for hiring full-time employees.
I'm assuming this side letter has been reviewed by our attorney?
Yes, it has.
I'll make that motion to, as described in item K, with the side letter of agreement with the Police Officers Association of Michigan regarding part-time public safety officers.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Mildren, seconded by Commissioner Semo to approve the side letter of agreement with the Police Officers Association of Michigan regarding part-time public safety officers, as described in item K. Any other discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Mildren?
Yes.
Semo?
Yes.
Tower?
Yes.
Corcoran?
Yes.
Birchall?
Yes. Item L, Manaport.
Thank you. Since I unfortunately wasn't able to make the last meeting, I've got a very long report for you. And Karen kept it to, I think, 2 items. So I'll give you a little more of an update on a few of the things just to bring you up to speed. Just a reminder to everybody that the Gibbet County Fair is coming here this month. Hard to believe we're already in August. It's the 25th through the 28th. So I want to remind everybody of that and go out and support the fair and enjoy all the activities that they bring to our area. A few things that are going on staff-wise, just to bring everybody up to speed. Our Community Development Director did leave, and we are advertising to fill the position. We are receiving applications until August 15th, and then we will review those applications. We usually have a review team that we look at the applications with, go through a very thorough vetting process and background checks, and make sure we get the right candidates here that will be a good fit for us. So we'll be working on that over the next few weeks. Kind of in the same vein, we did have Jim Ansemy retired, as you're aware, here a few weeks back, and we are working to fill the position there. We're modifying the position description a little bit to be more inclusive. Jim was at the water plant. That's what he did. We're including water plant operations, plus basically managing the entire water department. So we're adding a few more things to the area of responsibility. We've modified the job description, and we're working that through the union process to review it. Through that process, so we're moving forward with, and we'll do an internal posting then for that, and then usually people bounce around, and ultimately then we go external to fill whatever opening that we have at that point in time. As Andrew had mentioned, public safety with our recent retirement is looking at filling some spots. They have some part-time money for some part-time officers, so they're moving forward with that, and this is one of the steps that will allow us to go forward with getting them up to speed. Project-wise, as we mentioned, the paving projects, they've been doing a lot of paving around town, and you'll see they are working up on Mount Zion up there. That has been pulverized, and that probably later this week. The cemetery has been pulverized. All the asphalt roads have been pulverized. We are putting 3 inches of gravel on everything out there, even the ones that were gravel before. We have a grid system that will be paved to have good access through and around the cemetery. So that'd be a nice improvement we talked about for many, many years. And you'll see the paving starting the end of the week and going into next week in those areas. You'll also see probably the last time this summer is the remaining of our SAW grant televising. We've had a contractor in town for the last 2 years that are cleaning all of our sewer system. They go in and they actually clean it out and they televise it, and we're coming up with a list of things that we're going to need to be doing to continue to help repair and maintain that system. But they'll be mobilizing back in for the last time. It's Green Bay Pipe and TV, and they'll finalize their work here this fall. So you'll see them in town here for a few more weeks. The library project is moving forward slowly. You see the activity over there. They started. They had to submit some. That project is funded through the Michigan Historical Preservation Office. So we're working through them. They have some specific requirements on actually testing the mortar and getting some analysis done. So that has become a longer process than I think the contractor was expecting. So they are moving through that process with us and with the state. And you'll see more activity starting up out there. Rails were replaced last week in the front stairs. They replaced the handrails going in, and they'll be putting things back together here shortly. Down at the Patterson Tennis Courts, if you happen to go by there the last few days, Action Floors is resurfacing the courts. They're putting a brand new surface on for us. Again, they use that as their showcase as they sell the product, nationally. They're national and global. I think they sell all their floor systems. So we're lucky to have them as a partner, and they're coming in to touch that up, and there's no expense to the city, but it's be a real nice improvement. And they're also going to be adding something different for our area, pickleball lines. So anybody that has heard of pickleball or wants to play pickleball, those courts will have some pickleball lines included with them. So you can play tennis or pickleball. That's becoming more popular. So it's just one more amenity or activity for our residents and people in the area to enjoy. Staff also submitted another grant application for the Hardest Hit Blight Grant. We went through that over the last 2 years. It's a grant, federal grant through the state. And again, that application's been submitted. We won't hear about that for a while yet. Again, it's competitive, so there's no guarantee, but hopefully we'll be successful again and we'll be able to take care of a few more blighted properties around town. Staff has also met this past week with the US EPA. The city is the owner of the old gas plant site. We haven't talked about that for a while. We still own it, and will own it for a long time. That site has been cleaned up through the EPA process. The city is the responsible party for that ultimately. So we've been working very diligently with the EPA and the state DEQ folks and our Public Works Office, and there's worked very hard trying to work with them on every chance we can. The more we work with them, I think the better off we're going to be at the end, and what potentially we may be responsible for financially. So we did meet with them. They did a little bit of site work out there last week just to help with the drainage, improve that a little bit. And then staff and the city attorney are working with the EPA legal staff on a consent decree, which will basically say, here's what we have to do long-term for that site for maintenance. And also it should indicate to us what our financial obligation is or could be. So you'll be hearing more about that over the next few months. Our Community Development Office, Tim right now is holding the fort down on that. And I meant to give you, I'll forward it to you, the list of all the things that he and other department heads are trying to keep the balls in the air. When Michael left, he had many things, many irons in the fire, a lot of things that he's working on. It's not just grant writing, it's many things that he's involved in. So I'll get that out to you. It's just always an eye-opener to see what that person with that department is involved in. And it's not all-inclusive, it's just all the very important topics that we can't let drop in the interim. And we're just trying to keep the balls from dropping. So, and I want to thank Tim for stepping up and the other staff members for helping out with some of that. We are also looking at setting up a time for our fall cleanup day. We do a spring and fall cleanup. And again, it's hard to believe we're already at that point in the summer that we're talking about this, but we're looking at the middle of September. We have to lock in on the date. We're tentatively looking at September 17th. And we have to confirm that with our waste hauler, Eagle Waste, that they're going to be available. And then I don't want to put a date out there even though I just did that, but that's what we're tentatively looking at. And hopefully we can confirm that date or right around that time frame where people can again bring stuff they want to get rid of. So it's worked out very well, and Eagle Waste has done a very nice job working with us on that. The city is also working with the Kiwanis group in the area. Our Kiwanians have been excellent stewards of many things, but one of them has been Norrie Park. They have adopted the park over the years and have done a lot of improvements out at Norrie Park, everything from the pavilion to helping with playground equipment and you name it. So we've been working with the Kiwanis group. We're going to do a little ribbon cutting out there to celebrate the access to the park. It'll also be a way to celebrate all the roads that we've gotten done over the last few years. But really focusing on Norrie Park and doing a little ribbon cutting out there. We'll have a little community picnic, and that's going to be on Tuesday, August 30th at 11:45. And then we'll have a picnic afterwards. We'll put some hot dogs on the grill and just reintroduce people to Norrie Park, know that they have good access out there. It's a phenomenal location, as we all know, and it's nice to have a good way to get out there that people will hopefully tend to introduce themselves to the park out there. We're also going to have this Friday, if you're around, you may want to go down to the Pocket Park. Tim Erickson in our Community Development Department has been contacted by a lady from actually Detroit who is in their in a guild down there, Musicians Guild, and she has connections to the area. So she is going to do, they call it a pop-up music event. I hadn't heard the term before, but she's going to come at 11:30 this Friday in the Pocket Park and have a little music in the park. And just something a little different that we haven't seen, but nice that she's doing that, and she's traveling all the way up here to do it for our community. So hopefully the weather cooperates, and if you have a little time around lunchtime, stop down there and listen to some nice music in the park. So that's the end of my report.
Thank you. Moving on to other matters. Any other matters?
Yes, I'd just like to give the commission a little, really brief update on two of the committees that I'm on, Parks and Rec. Parks and Rec has met a lot of their goals that they've set over the last few years, Curry Park among them. And one of the projects that they're working on right now is playgrounds north of the highway. Part of the comprehensive plan is neighborhood playgrounds. And there is some progress being made. A site has been identified as a potential site, and we're going to start looking at granting funding for playground equipment as well for this spot. So that's what Parks and Rec is up to, amongst other things, quite a few actually. And planning has been working on two different things, our wayfinding system, which we're going to update hopefully sometime in the future, and also coming up with a recommendation to the City Commission for a sidewalk plan. Now that we've done so well on streets, we're going to start looking at sidewalks, and planning is going to give a recommendation on how they think we can proceed. And of course, we get to decide whether we like that recommendation or not, but that's what planning has been working on.
Great.
Everybody's slowed down a little bit without a community development director, but Tim is doing his best he can to fill in that gap.
Thank you. Any other comments?
A couple things. I'm asking to be excused from the September 12th meeting if possible. I have MML meetings later in that week and also some work issues to attend to, so.
I'll make a motion, we excuse Commissioner Corcoran from that meeting, September 12th.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Semo, seconded by Commissioner Tower to excuse Commissioner Corcoran from the September 12th meeting. Further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you.
Welcome.
And then I just have a couple more updates, being on the Michigan Municipal League Board, just kind of update on a few things. The MML staff have met with the governor's staff, and they're kind of on board trying to discuss municipal finance proposals. As you know, maybe over the past 10 years or so, there's kind of been a disinvestment in Michigan in local government and the funding that they have. I believe over the 10 years, Ironwood has lost out on about $2 million. So they're working with the governor to try to restructure how local cities receive, their payments and stuff. MML has also met with legislators on the issue of stormwater utilities and potential legislative relief, and they are also working with MDOT on new road warranty requirements. So just a few areas of discussion that are going on, just thought I would share.
Thank you.
And I see the Kennedys are still here. I know that their topic was not on the agenda, so it's not something we can make a decision right now, but thank you for coming here tonight. And then if it's, I'm not sure if city staff feels it warrants bringing it back to the commission or not, but I just wanted to let them know that we're not making a decision tonight. So just thank you for that information. That's all I have.
Okay.
And I would like to add tonight, big vote of thanks to the people in Ironwood for their support of the Civic Center. We can't let that vote, and it was a majority vote. We can't let that go unnoticed because this wonderful town of ours, Ironwood, has all of these assets, and the Civic Center is one of them. And that continues to be, Ironwood's always been a skating town, and and a figure skating and a hockey, and so that's wonderful. You know, in our streets, it was the people in the city that voted, and now our streets are all being redone. And I noticed today now that the grading was taking place going up to the top of Mount Zion. And there's another asset that we've discussed. That's beautiful. And then Norrie Park, when you talked about Norrie Park, you know, it's Norrie Park is Kiwanis has worked with the city of Ironwood on Norrie Park for more than 90 years, a little over 90 years. And beautiful playground equipment out there. Pavilion looks great. The apple trees even that were planted about 5 years ago along the walking track, they have apples on them this year. So I think they're Macintosh. We'll see. But it's pretty cool. And we have the walking trails out there. We have all of those great assets. And now you can jump on your bike or in your car or walk. And you don't have to risk breaking an ankle on a road that hadn't been repaired for many, many years. So great job by the people in the city and our hardworking employees of the city. Really going well.
Thank you.
I had actually intended to ask Mike about the highway issue we have there. It's clearly a water drainage problem with those intersections. Mm-hmm. I won't be at the next meeting, but I think that should probably be addressed and figure out what we can do to fix that issue. Those intersections flood even with minimal rain. They're flooding pretty regularly, and I had to go through that intersection the night of our flood, and it was not fun.
Sure, I can contact the DOT and have them give you an update on what, if there are options. Usually it's, you know, pipe sizes and, you know, diameters of pipes that restrict how much stormwater can get into the system. But we'll have them give an update. It's really their system, and we'll have them try to address that and let you know what can and can't be done.
Thanks.
Yep.
One thing I'll have to say on that is the amount of damage nationwide that takes place every week when you watch the news. And, then we had our own examples of flooding and roads washed out and people drowned and Highway US 2 closed. So I have to say, in doing all of the things that go on, that yes, we have to look at those issues, but the city of Ironwood, for I'm not quite sure how many years, has weathered our weather remarkably well. Just say, and I know, you know, thank God for that, and even, you know, sometimes maybe we're just lucky, but I think it's good planning, and I think that things have been built correctly. So, but still have to look at it. So thank you.
Is that an MDOT? They approve the specs, the engineering, it's all done?
Well, US 2 is all MDOT, absolutely, and again, not to get into all the details, but a storm sewer system is designed for a certain storm event, and they don't design it for the 100-year event. They couldn't afford to ever do that, so they design it for a certain event, and it can take a certain amount of water. And just seeing the dynamics of what's going on in our area, and it's probably more than our area, you're seeing high-intensity, quick storms that come in, and they drop a lot of water very quickly. And these systems aren't designed to handle that. Now, whether they change, and this isn't just MDOT, this is nationally, they all use the same standards on how they design storm sewers. So whether or not that's triggering them to look at, you know, in the future, trying to, you know, design for these larger type of events that are occurring, I would think it might be. But we'll get more detail on the US 2 part, and, you know, if there's, what their thoughts are on that. And I know that's designed to a certain storm event, and you get a, you know, heavy downpour like that, and it's probably overtaxing the capacity of the system, but we'll find out more. And it is their system, so we'll let them respond, you know, on how it's designed and, you know, how, if there's anything they could do to improve it.
And I think it would be worthwhile in the next couple months to perhaps be observant and vigilant after we have various rain events, and to see the resultant water pooling in that area.
Right, and it does. I think we know, you know, we've all seen it where it does, you get the heavy event where the water sits. It's not, you know.
Right.
But I'm not sure if they can do anything, but we'll have them address it.
Okay. Okay. Moving on to item N, consider closed session to discuss the city manager's review and contract.
Make that motion.
Support.
Motion by Commissioner Semo, second by Commissioner Corcoran to enter into closed session as described in item N. Roll call vote, please.
Seymour.
Yes.
Tower.
Yes.
Corcoran.
Yes.
Mildred.
Yes.
Birchall.
Yes.
I agree. I mean, US 2.